Hello world, I'm Maya Sundermeyer and I'm going to welcome you to the latest episode of my blog series. So far, I have been able to share my own experiences on what it's like to live on the autism spectrum. Other times I like to give my 2 cents on what's going on with autism in the media. A third area would be giving tips and advice to anybody inside the autism community. And a fourth area would be covering topics that I'm passionate about. But before I dive into tonight's topic, what I'm going to do is recommend a series of videos with Temple Grandin in them, and that's because I'm doing, drumroll please, yes, that's right, next week I'm going down to Savannah and I'm going to be volunteering at a conference in the area, and it just so happens that Temple is the keynote speaker, and you know who I am. I admire Doc because she's an inspiration and she's unique and she's outspoken and she's a model citizen to the autism community. I mean, no, I don't want to put her up on a pedestal, but she's just accomplished so much. And I admire listening to her every time because she's so positive. So yeah, be sure to check out the Temple Grandin videos throughout. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is talk about what it was like for me to live with autism post-diagnosis. So in 1993, I was diagnosed with PDD, or pervasive developmental delay. And that meant I had high-functioning autism. And of course, my mom, and my dad were looking at having me transferred to a different school system because they thought that they were more expertise and specialized in working with individuals with autism. And so my mom was talking about a few children that were in their programs with autism, and she said that they couldn't talk, and that was a common trait. And so after I got diagnosed, she said that I had high-functioning autism. So at that time, she sent me to a therapy program, which I believe it was through the Fraser Center, and it was sort of a support group for 9, 10, and 11-year-olds. And of course, I was the only female in the group, and everybody else was male, because at that time, there was a belief that it's very rare for a female to live on the autism spectrum, so I was a very special case. And not only that, all of us together had things in common as far as being very high functioning, and we also were incredibly hyper, and we had some things that we needed to work on. So that was my first part of it. And then in that fall, I ended up going to that different school system that my parents wanted me to go to because they wanted what was best for me, or so they thought. And unfortunately, I was the only one and the only female in the group that was mildly autistic. Everybody else, was, they were classic autistic. They were rocking, or they could talk, but they were, more off in their own worlds. I mean, I don't really want to insult anybody, but they were in their own shells. And so I felt a little bit left out. And then when I got into to junior high and high school, I had the same problems again. I ran into people that had severe cases of autism, ones that didn't talk much, and ones that were in their own shells. I mean, one of them had special talents. I mean, he could write in Japanese, but he would run around, you couldn't even talk to him. He'd run around like a little kid, and you'd ask how he was doing, and he'd just go, Japanese, Japanese. And at that time, I thought it was funny because I didn't understand, but I thought he was a really unique kid. Now, in the special education room, they had other mild students, but none of them had Asperger's syndrome or high-functioning autism like myself. And a lot of them found me to be annoying or weird, and a lot of them seemed to have an easier time with maturing and picking up on things Meanwhile, I had delays in social and emotional stuff. And so I often felt like I was a shadow, or I felt like I was left out because these kids and their parents did not understand. And what I really probably needed to do was, once again, find people of my own kind. So after a while, I forgot that I had met these kids who functioned just like me. And I thought I was the only one on planet Earth that had mild autism, or it was so rare that it wasn't even funny. So by the time I reached my 20s, I didn't want to be around any other autism support groups. And that's because I had seen so much and so little, and I'd seen a very, very small picture. So anyway, if you have any questions or comments about what I just talked about, I would love to hear from you. Let me know if you've had similar experiences and how you tackled it. And I'd also like to see you share these videos on YouTube and on Twitter and on Facebook. And I'd also like to see you share this with your autism support groups and with your parents and with your special education teachers and with your mentors, anybody. And also do not forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm Maya Sundermeyer, and I will see you next time.